I wanted to know why there was why didn't they even go with an NDA? Because this is a flagrant violation of their non-disclosure agreement. Well, I'm going to say sources confirmed. That's how I'm going to go with that. Sources confirmed. If they would have gone forward with a non-disclosure, everyone would have still seen it as guilty. That lingering effect that you noted, it would still be there. So you have to, in order to present the actual case and to present it to the public. This isn't just about a court case. There's also the court of public opinion. You have to uncancel yourself in two ways these days.
Yes, agree. And for anybody that isn't familiar, you're referring to when you say the non-disclosure agreement, you're referring to the non-disclosure agreement in their divorce settlement,
Yes,
right?
that's
That
right.
basically said that both parties agree they're not going to talk about what happened during their marriage, during their relationship. And so obviously, Amber Heard's Washington Post article was a huge violation of that
Oh yeah.
because although she didn't necessarily talk about, naming him specifically, maybe she thought that she was like getting around that NDA by being a little bit vague.
Did you
Um,
see did you see the ACLU letters to her? Have you looked through all
I
those yet?
no, but I have heard about them.
Okay, well
Um,
they specifically they have early drafts of that and they very specifically talk about, "Hey, do you like how we dodged your NDA?" Hey, I mean they say things like that and they have lines that are now removed from the early versions, but they talked about during blah 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 and it'll add a sentence like when I was married before I got my TRO. So I mean it tells you exactly who she's talking about.
yeah. And I mean, if you do read the Washington Post op-ed, it's clear. It's clear that she's talking about him. So it's like,
Hmm.
it's always interesting to me, to what extent people think that they're going to get around a certain restriction, when it's like, if they had taken a step back and been like, will anyone out there question who this is about? And is there some kind of a legal repercussion of that? Like it's I don't know. It's one of those things that it really made me kind of wonder um, the logical reasoning of the folks that were kind of a part of crafting that whole op-ed.
Well, you could see like in the letters they wanted to pass, they wanted to address the new Congress and they wanted to talk about the Violence Against Women Act, and it was the ACLU. They were right there, clearly, presently. They were using the Trump administration. They say quite a bit about it. And it's very flagrant. It very much so. And again, they're going to enrich themselves by making him the face of violence against women.
Yeah, yeah, and uh it's one of those. Yeah, it's one of those things that's also very interesting here that the ACLU, I mean, they have every incentive also to sort of dress up this whole op-ed as well because they have said themselves that they want to place themselves to be politically important in Washington, and they really want to be, movers and shakers for, and sometimes okay, sure, that's legitimate. Like, who doesn't want to make, let's give them a little bit of charity and say, who doesn't want to make a positive change in the world. Now, when we are talking about changes in Washington, the people that are usually involved in that usually have less idealistic, um, um, I guess, less idealistic means or even ends that they are even considering or thinking about. So it's, you can be as skeptical as you want about the ACLU and their motives and involvement in all of this, and whether or not they really saw Amber Heard's narrative as one that is truthful or not.